Alright, welcome back to our Mice and Mystics playthrough. We are about to commence with Chapter 7, but just a couple of words really quick before we dive in. It has been a while since I put up a video here, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. Right now we are in towards the end of April 2020, and we are right in the middle of this coronavirus pandemic, which I'm mentioning. Obviously, if you're watching it right now or anytime soon, you're going to know that, but maybe in a year or two, it'll be good to have that context. In any event, just on a personal note, I was very ill before stuff started hitting the fan on a global scale. I had totally unrelated to coronavirus, but I did have some health issues. And first of all, I just want to say thanks to the support that I did receive. People were messaging me on YouTube, on Facebook, email. So it was very nice to hear from people. So I thank you all for that. And if you are coming back to this channel and watching this, you haven't seen anything from me for a while, I do appreciate you staying subscribed and keeping an eye open for me. So I do apologize for the delay. I was very ill. I seem to be better now, although there's still, oddly enough, a lot of question marks as to what exactly was wrong with me. I'm not going to get into the details, but it seems to have cleared up, and we're hoping that whatever it was has passed. But we actually don't have a very good diagnosis as to what it was, and it was pretty bad for a while there. But it is hopefully behind me, and then on the wakes of that, I was trying to get back into my business, and I'm a small business owner. I'm an educator, actually. I'm a tutor, and I run a business and have a number of employees that I have to keep employed. I have to look out for them, and I have a lot of course, clients that I need to look out for. So, fortunately, I have a wonderful staff there. But I did have to, get back and start getting the business moving once again with some oversight and, just kind of lending a hand, keeping everything afloat. But then the pandemic hit, and it's been a rough time for small businesses like mine. Schools are closed, money's tight, and with a lot of the educational uncertainties, you would think that students would be clamoring for private tutors, but especially when tutors are only available online. Even though it is different, it's face-to-face, people are not thinking it's necessarily different from what they're getting at school. And so it's been rough from a business perspective, but we are hoping to survive it and get through and kind of rebuild from the ashes. But all of that I'm just mentioning not because I want oohs and ahs and pity, but because that's the explanation for why, or at least in part, it's been so long since I have put together a video. But I really wanted to get back to it, so I am making some time now to kind of chip away at it. I've been trying to free up some time, and I'm hoping in the next week or so I can record a bit here and a bit there and get this video out to you guys and continue this. I'm looking for some other projects. I have explored a lot of other game avenues, and I think there's a couple of playthroughs that I'd like to run for you guys, but I didn't want to wrap up the base game of Mice and Mystics, that core story at the very least. And so that being said, here we are. We are in Chapter 7, where we left off in Chapter 6. We had sent the cat, actually, off to the neighboring kingdom. Or sorry, no, we used the cat to grab the crow, tied a message to the crow, and made the crow fly to the neighboring kingdom to warn them of the evil sorceress's impending attack. And now, what we are doing is, what we're going to find out when we take a look at the storybook in just a second, but we're headed back into the castle. We've got another mission in front of us, and this is an interesting chapter because, as I zoom in on or zoom out on the map here, you're going to see we've got some interesting mechanics here. Previously, the tiles have all been stipulated, in past games, but in this one there is some randomization. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the storybook and see how all of that works at your table. And of course I've got this coded up here for my own framework in MapTool as well. Alright, so let's pop over to the storybook and see what it's got to say for itself. Alright, so here we are with the storybook for Chapter 7. It is called The Missing Tome, and the reason for that is we have this kind of vague, if you read the story blurb here, we have a vague kind of promissory note from Maginos that if we go back into the castle and we find his mystic tome, then we're going to be able to find the quote-unquote solution to the problem of Vanestra. So he believes that with his spellbook he's going to be able to maybe undo her magics or her in some way or other. It certainly would be a useful tool in our battle, so that is our current mission. We're going into the castle, we're going to try to track it down. The problem is obviously he had it in his old study, but the castle's been ransacked by Vanestra's minions, and who knows where it is now, assuming it's even in good shape. Alright, so mechanically, the way this chapter goes, every time you play this chapter, you don't know where you're going to be able to find that book. It is randomized, and here's mechanically how that's going to work. Okay, first of all, chapter objective. Our goal is to find the book and clear out all the minions on that tile before we run out of time, or of course we get a wiped party. That's pretty much how this is going to work. The chapter end is going to start on only page 4, but we're going to have some mechanics that are going to push this up pretty rapidly. Basically, as you progress, if you don't find the book, you get a little bit of extra time as long as you're making steady progress. So this can tick all the way up to 7 even without there's some search cards that will bump that up for you, and so this is going to bump up naturally even if you don't draw those cards, and that's built into the scenario. Okay, we're going to select 4 mice. There's any 4 mice. In a minute you're going to see that I'm definitely going to want to take Lily for one of them. The encounter deck is interesting here in that we are not using just the easy encounter cards or the standard encounter cards. We are using the 9 difficult encounter cards, and then we're randomly choosing 2 standard cards to put on the top of that deck. And mechanically, of course, what that's going to mean is the first 2 encounters will be standard difficulty, and you won't know which ones, and then the next however many you want will be difficult encounters. So as we go through, the fights will get harder, and that's going to be a theme, because as you play through the game, your mice, if you're playing the campaign anyway, your mice are going to be getting stronger in their accumulation of abilities and items that best suit their needs. So you're going to start facing harder and harder encounters as you go. You're also going to have something in this chapter, which is for the first time in this game, in fact it's the only one in this game, where you're going to have a quest deck. And to make the quest deck, it's just going to consist of 4 cards. You're going to grab the Mystic Tome specifically. You're going to grab any 2 more search cards that you want, and they could be anything. And this I mentioned a second ago, I'm going to want to bring Lily. If you recall from last time, we're trying desperately for a chapter or 2 to get Lily an item, because everybody else has a pretty good item for her, but Lily's still rocking her original equipment. We haven't been able to find anything that's been really good for her. So one thing I can do is grab 1 or 2 items and plant them in the deck here, so that even if we don't pull this Mystic Tome, in fact I almost don't want to pull the Mystic Tome on my first draw through this game, there's a pretty good chance that I can pull something at least that Lily can use. We're also then going to add 1 random search to that deck, and as a result of that we're going to have 4 cards, 3 of which I know what they are, but of course it's going to be shuffled and I won't know which ones are coming up when. And then that's going to determine what we find in various rooms as we go about our business. Okay. The tile setup is you're going to start with the tunnel entrance and the kitchen tunnels. There's going to be a set for the initial fight where you're going to have mouse traps, and you're going to have actually 6 greedy roaches on the first tile. Being that they're on the other side of mouse traps, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have some ranged attacks given that this is especially the only fight that we know for sure we're definitely going to have, not a bad idea to load up on ranged attackers in your party, given that that first round you're hopefully going to try to take out some of those greedy roaches before they swarm you. But we're going to place the 4 mice right here, and we're going to fill this up, and then we're going to dive forward. Nothing really special is going to happen here other than that, although there's a at the end of the chapter it does specify the surge for this tile also is going to be a cave centipede. Okay, but we know that at this point greedy roaches can get nasty, and you certainly could fill up the cheese wheel on tile 1 with greedy roaches running around. But we're going to start out with no cheese, so obviously depending on how it goes, you can fill up the cheese wheel on tile 1. It's just it's not super likely, but the dice will dictate. Special rules for the chapter: in the courtyard you can't go, so even though you're on a flip space, you are not allowed to activate that flip space. Okay. Random exploration, and the way this is going to work is, I'll just read this verbatim and then we'll discuss it, and we'll see how it works as we go through the game. In this chapter, a mouse may use an explore action on a space adjacent to an exit area, even if there is no other tile connected to that area. So again, this is our standard setup. We could go right here. Once this tile is cleared of minions, we can go to that exit area, and we can try to explore to the empty area right here. Normally, on a regular map, if you got an empty area, there's no tile there, you can't go there. It's just not part of the map. This time, as long as there's an empty space, you can try to see if there's something there. And here's how this is going to work. When exploring in an exit that has no other tile connected to it, you select the tile at random from the tile stack and place it adjacent to the exit that is being explored. The tile must be placed so that it has the same color side up as the tile that the exploring mouse is on, and the orientation arrow on the tile being placed must face the same direction as the arrows on the tiles already in play. After placing the new tile, check and see if the mouse can legally explore through the newly placed tile. If the new tile cannot legally be explored, the exploring mouse's turn is over and the explore action was wasted. Okay, so if you remember, whenever you're placing tiles, you're always looking at this arrow. I mean, if you're following the guidebook, it's kind of showing you that anyway. But the arrow here is going to still dictate the orientation of your tile. Every tile has a blue side and an orange side. So when you go here, you're going to randomly pick a tile. You're going to find, if you're on a blue like you would be here, if you're on a blue tile, you're going to find the blue entrance or the blue side of that tile, and you're going to put it down here with the orientation of the arrow in the top corner. If it connects so that you have blue on the other tile right here, then you can continue to explore and move the party through. If it does not connect, you still have the tile there, but you can't move there. So you're going to have to go and try one of the other exits. If you happen to be on an orange tile, so for instance, suppose we went in here and then we went up this flip space and we wind up in the kitchen, then we could go to one of the orange exits on that tile and try to see if something connects to that. And we would then be putting the orange side of that tile on down. Okay. Now we can't go to the courtyard, but suppose we were here. Suppose we went to the top part of this tile and explored here, and we placed a tile, and it did not have a blue side facing us. Bummer, we can't go through there. We could of course go over here and try to find something here. Let's just suppose, and I don't even know if this is possible, but suppose we got a tile here that doesn't connect, a tile here that doesn't connect, one here that doesn't connect, one here that doesn't connect, and one here that doesn't connect on the blue sides. Well, we're not necessarily out of luck, because we can go to the flip space here and then see if any of those do connect on the orange side. So we could flip all of those and we could try it, or we could, technically by the rules, you would go and explore, then flip to find out if it does fit. So at that point, hopefully between, it's either phenomenally unlucky or potentially impossible for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tiles not to ever work out. So you're going to be able to move on. And then again, as soon as one of those opens up, it's going to have more exits on both sides of its tile that are going to allow you to explore even further. So the odds that you're just completely screwed by this they're very low, but you certainly could waste a lot of time if you're unlucky finding which tiles you want to move to. Okay, but that is the first mechanic we want to understand here, is there is a randomness to this. Now obviously when I'm in Map Tool, I've got this coded up and it's all just images, and I can click on this tile and randomly assign it an image, and that's the map that's there. Cool, no problem, easy to do on a digital side of things, because I can just do a random number generator to pick a tile with a click of a button. At table, the way the rule is stated is you're supposed to get a stack and shuffle it and pick tiles from it. I mean, there's two problems with this. One is, I mean, you could try to do it like under the table or in a really big bag or something like that, but it's going to have to be a really large bag because these tiles are pretty big. You're also, because they're big and a little bit awkward in your hands, you're probably going to be scuffing them up and banging the corners, and it's going to put a lot of wear and tear on those tiles that, if you're like me, you try to keep them in decent shape. And I know a lot of board gamers are, at least close to as anal as I am about things like this. So what I would recommend doing is actually just laying the tiles out, like in a line somewhere. Or you could just put them in a stack and have them, one on top, and count how many tiles there are, and roll an appropriate die to grab which tile you're going to pick, right? So if you've got a 10-sided die lying around, I know a lot of you are gamers, so you might have that. If all you have is d6s and d20s, roll a d20 until you get an appropriate number, right? Or you could split the tile stacks in half and roll a d6, and the 1 through 3 is the top half, and 4 through 6 is the bottom half. And once you have the half selected, roll a die again, and that'll pick the tile from the stack that you've picked. And if you get one that doesn't, if you're looking for, suppose you're rolling a d20 because there's, 11 tiles in your stack, and you roll a 15, well, just roll again until you get a number that works. Pick that tile. That's a much better way of going about it. Just use a die to randomize it rather than trying to shuffle these giant stacks without looking. All right. Optional side plot. Maginos is looking for knowledge to help the mice defeat Vanestra. Each time a mouse finds one of the 3 named search cards that have been placed in the quest deck, move the chapter end marker 1 page farther on the chapter track. Okay. Now, it's weird that it says named search cards. I believe what it means by that is obviously because it's you've got the Mystic Tome, and then you have 2 more search cards that you're picking in particular, and then you have one that's random. I don't know if this is meant to say if you get anything other than the Mystic Tome, you at least get a little bit of time as a kind of consolation prize. But the language, the way it's phrased, seems instead to indicate that you get extra time if you find either the Mystic Tome or one of the 2 search cards you picked, but not the random search card. That's the most natural reading of the language to my ear. It does seem a little bit weird. It does matter. Like, it's not silly to give you extra time when you find the Mystic Tome, because you could find the Mystic Tome, be on your last page of your chapter and really close to a surge and still have some minions to clear out from that tile. They cheese the wheel, and even though you have the tome, you still lost. So getting that extra tick of time could still matter. But it does seem weird that you get time for getting the cards that you chose, but not time for getting the random search. So you could play it either way. I'm going to play it as I think is raw, rules as written. I certainly have played it in the past where if you get anything other than the Mystic Tome, then you get a page on the chapter track. It seems a more natural way to run this rule. but I mean, I feel like if that was what the intention was, this would have been worded much differently. So I think that's a house rule, basically. That said, you can play it how you want. It's your table, right? But I believe what it's saying is if you get the Mystic Tome or the 2 search cards that you picked, then you get an extra page on the chapter end marker. So that's how I'm going to be playing it at our playthrough here today. Special search the quest deck. The first mouse that makes a successful search action on a tile that is orange side up may draw a card from the quest deck instead of the search deck. This special search can be used once on each orange side up tile. So the basic idea here is the only way you get to draw from the quest deck and advance the story and hopefully win is you have to get to orange sides of tiles and successfully search. And it looks, again, as written, that you can only successfully search for that with the very first search on that tile that is successful. So if Filch is the first one to search because he has an opportunity in the middle of that fight, don't brain fart it and use find, because the next person who searches on that tile, according to this, can't draw from the quest deck because it's not the first successful search action on that side. Although, again, I have played it where at any point you can choose to do it because that's how special searches usually work. So again, up to you. Play it how you want, but I'm going to play it as strictly reading the rules as I can for the purposes of our playthrough. Another special search. You can make a special search for the fishhook and thread on any water space that you happen to encounter. Now, there are none programmed, but again, we're randomly drawing tiles, so we could wind up in any of those sewer spaces that have water, and we can find the fishhook and thread. And for instance, if we're in the sewer beneath the guard room, that's needed in order to activate that flip space to go up into the guard room, which is one of those orange tiles that we need to advance the story. So that fishhook and thread could potentially loom large depending on what tiles you draw. Then lastly, we have a story moment to read out when we find the tome and we win, but that is for when we win. Here's Maginos and Meeps. I'll give him a little scratch on the chin there. Little boy, I missed you. All right, so that is the story. Let's go ahead and bop over to Map Tool and get this sucker going. But first I'll show you how some of the mechanics are going to work in our framework. All right, so here we are back on Map Tool, ready to get going with the chapter. And funny story to relate to you here. This is actually my second time attempting this. The first time through, I had one of the most unbelievable runs of bad luck I have ever had in this game, and lost on the second tile. I mean, it was nuts. My search on this tile was, I had like 2 successful searches, and I got They Know We're Here, which is the ambush card. The greedy roaches were piling up cheese on my wheel just because, like, they weren't even eating cheese from me. They were, although they wounded me a couple of times, they just kept rolling cheese, and they stayed alive for a really long time because I couldn't roll. I was rolling swords when I wanted bows, and bows when I wanted swords, and couldn't roll any defense. It was, it kind of went that way for the whole playthrough. As I started clearing them out, I went up here and searched, and the room didn't connect. I went down here and searched, and the room didn't connect. Finally went over to this tile, and of course you draw an encounter card. Of course I'm ambushed. Surge happens pretty quickly because of the cheese that had piled up. I get a spider, it's piling on me. I still can't roll anything. I even have attacks against the spider with his defense reduced to 0, and I just can't roll any hits. So they're wasted. And then got a couple of big hits on Colin, and he rolled no defense, and Colin was captured, and before you know it, I had triggered 2 surges and been captured. So that's 3 page advancements, and I lost on the second tile by hitting page 4 that quickly. I don't even think I made any tactical errors, at least certainly not anything major. I mean, there were some decisions where I made some risks, took some risks, and in at least one occasion it bit me in the case of Colin getting captured. Had I moved a little bit differently, given the way the dice fell, someone else would have survived, but that was a contingency where that was just phenomenally unlikely, and I was playing the odds for the longer game because I was already running up against time. And it just didn't work out. So, just because things don't work out doesn't mean you made a mistake necessarily. I mean, you can bet $1 and have a 90% chance of winning a $12,000 prize in cash handed to you at that moment. And you roll your 1 in 10 and lose the bet, and you can look back and say, well, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have done that. And in a sense that's true, but it doesn't mean you made a mistake from a decision-making point of view. Like, I feel like I did the right things, but man, the dice were unkind. That said, I was going to post it. I actually put together the video and I kind of compiled it, and I was a little conflicted because a part of me was saying, losing that badly, are you going to look bad? Are you going to look like you don't know what you're doing? And I think I started thinking that that's probably why you don't see many losses on a lot of video channels. I mean, they're out there. People do post videos where they lose, but most of the time people wind up winning. And I'm wondering if maybe there's at least a percentage of people out there who do get conflicted about posting something and looking like they can't play the game well or something like that. I don't know. But I was going to put it up, and I actually got so far as to compile the video. But when I did so, it turned out that pretty much the entire segment on the map had no sound. I don't know. I guess the computer was not picking up my mic somehow. And I really don't know how that happened, but that kind of made the decision for me. I couldn't really well post a video with no sound. So we're going to play through here, and again, we're going to take the dice as they fall. If I lose again, great. We'll see. But yeah, prologue over. Let's get back into it, and let's try this sucker again. All right. So I am just going to dive in here, but just in advance, forgive me if I wind up repeating myself. I have kind of, in between videos and re-recordings, I have lost track, possibly of what I might have said in some of the clips that did work, that I'm preserving because they had sound, and other clips that I had to get rid of because they had no sound. So just a note about party construction here. I have opted to go with Lily because she has a good chance of getting, finally, an item that she can use from that quest deck. I have gone with Maginos because even though he's not required, I feel like he kind of should be required for this chapter, because after all, we're here looking for his book. Tilda kind of goes without saying. She really helps keep people alive in general. And Colin was the tougher choice, but just with his give order and his general all-around abilities, I thought I would bring him along as well, although it was a really tough choice between him and really either Nez or Filch. But yeah, that's what I'm rolling with, and we will just see how it works out the second time through. So we've got the setup here for the first room is scripted. We've got 6 greedy roaches, and our surge is a centipede in the event that we trigger one. And we have 2 mouse traps here that we have to deal with. And again, we've got one tile that we can definitely go to, but we have another encounter there. However, that might lead us directly into an orange tile. We might or might not get to this tile first here. I've got this coded up a particular way here for map tool, but of course you're going to do it differently according to however you're randomizing the tiles at home. So really all there is to it is to dive in here and see if we can get through this without dying. And the first step, of course, is to shuffle the initiative. Filch is not with us, so let me remove him real quick. And hit shuffle initiative. And Colin, lo and behold, is first, so he will not get any cheese, but he does get to move. Lacking cheese, he doesn't have anything for give order. And these roaches can reach us, but I'm going to have 2 people with the ability to take shots at them. Hopefully they take one of them out. That could very well mean we only have one of those rats. Yeah, I mean, statistically I'm thinking I'm likely to kill one of them with those 2 range attacks. If there's 3, they need a 3 to reach me here. They need a 3 to reach me here. Statistically, only 1 should reach me. By contrast, if I try to start going across this mouse trap, I could start running into trouble. So, because I don't necessarily have to worry about it. Lily is immune to mouse traps, so I could kill these roaches by kind of hunkering down here and turtling a little bit. And then when the time is right, she could scoot up here and try to move us on, or down here and move us on, without risking a trip across a mouse trap. Not that it's absurdly dangerous, but greedy roaches can mess you up. So I think Colin is going to bide his time and he's going to search. He does not find anything, so that will simply end his turn, and we'll go to Lily, who, measuring from the center of this tile, does have line of sight on either of those. I don't think it really matters which one we shoot at, so I'm going to go after this one, just because this one gives me a little bit more maneuverability on this side of the mousetrap. So Lily will target one of those roaches. She's only firing 2. She does hit one, which is great. They're only rolling 1 defense die, and he's not blocking it. So right out of the gate, Lily pops one of those roaches, and that is good news. I don't think Lily wants to move. I'd rather have him attacking Colin, so she is going to stay where she is. Tilda, for similar reasons to Colin, I think is going to hunker down and roll her search check. She finds something. Let us go ahead and actually, you know what, now that I think about it, I believe I have not yet set up my boss deck or my encounter deck. Neither of those are relevant right here, but it just occurred to me, so I should take care of that before we go any further. Let me draw her search card really quick. She gets a summon cat scroll. I really have a hard time believing that's going to be very useful in this chapter, so I think she's going to discard that for a piece of cheese instead. Because that could be a point of healing at some point. Okay, so the way you're going to build the encounter deck, or sorry, the boss deck, not the boss deck, the quest deck. Don't worry about this. This is my macro here, and again, you're doing this at home. So all you're going to do is you're going to build your deck by, and there's a little bit of description here. You're going to select 2 cards, and they're going to be added to the Mystic Tome, and 1 random card to form the quest deck. So this macro here is going to, it's already got the Mystic Tome, which I think is not even listed here. I'm going to grab the enchanted, oh, maybe I've already done this, because I am not seeing the enchanted bow here. And I am not seeing the longbow. So I think this save game has already preserved my the quest deck that I made. So, okay. The quest deck basically has the enchanted bow in it and the longbow in it, 2 items that would be really good for Lily to get. Those are the 2 that I picked. They're added to the Mystic Tome, and some random card, who knows what it was picked. And that's what's in the quest deck. When it comes time, I can click that and I can draw a quest deck card. Because I did that, I'm thinking I must have done the encounter deck, but there's no reason not to just do it again. So I'm going to go ahead and use use difficult cards with 2 standard ones on top per the starting instructions. Okay, so the encounter cards are all set. Okay, so that was Lily's turn. That was Tilda's turn. We come to Maginos. He's going to try to shoot, I think, probably at this other roach up here to try to clear a path. And yeah, he just, with the Lore of 3 and the Scorching Wand equipped, he is going to be rolling 3 attack dice, looking for bows. So he gets swords, and Maginos is done. And as predicted, we killed off 1 roach. Let's see if, as predicted, we get only 1 of them reaching us. They're going to roll their movement. That one's already reaching us. Remember, minions do not care about mousetraps. They just totally ignore them. He's going to roll his movement. He also gets a 3. And he's going to roll his movement, and he gets a 1. Okay, so we got 2 out of 3, which is unlucky. The first one's going to attack Colin, and the next one's going to attack Lily. But neither of them have cheese on them, so there's no danger of them putting an abnormal amount of cheese on the wheel. Let's see what they get when they roll a hit. That's 2 hits. Colin is, let's double check here, party status. Yeah, Colin has just his breastplate, so he is rolling 2 defense dice. He got 1 shield, which means he does take 1 wound from that greedy roach. This roach is going to roll 2 against Lily. He also gets 2 swords. And she's going to roll 2 defense and block them both. Okay, rare turn of good fortune for me lately. The other 2 roaches here are not going to be able to reach us, but they will move. And they're going to get a 3 and a 1 respectively. Let's count spaces because they will follow the shortest path to this square. And they could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or they could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to reach us. Let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so they will go around to the north. So he will move 1, 2, and 3, and he will move simply 1 space. Okay. Now we come back around to Colin, and he's got a plethora of targets to try to hit. So he's going to start swinging away like the bad A that he is. But I think I might start sidling this way. I guess it doesn't matter. These guys are going to be able to reach those spaces. Either way. Okay, so yeah, Colin will just start attacking. And I guess I'll target this guy right here. So he gets to roll, because he's got the Ring of Cat Strength, he's rolling 4 attack dice. So we'll go ahead and go with that. He is getting a piece of cheese. And he is getting 2 hits. That is an automatically dead roach, but he does get to roll to see if he cheeses the wheel. He does not, so that is bye-bye roach. Okay. Next up we have Lily, because I don't think Colin wants to move. Although I do think he will trade to get his cheese off of him and give it to Tilda at this point, because she's already got some healing to do. Okay. Now Lily, I don't think from this point it looks like she cannot. It kind of looks like she could see that space, but kind of not. I think if she was here, she probably could. So I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to put her here with the hope of taking that roach out, because these guys are going to be able to try to wallop these guys down here. So she's going to go up here, and she's going to fire at that roach. She's looking for bows. She's hitting once. But he is blocking, unfortunately. Okay. And again, I can do that because Lily's immune to mouse traps. Tilda now is going to try to squish this bug. She's rolling 3 attack dice. She's getting a piece of cheese. And she is hitting 1 time. The roach is not blocking. That's a dead roach. I like that. And I don't think Tilda wants to move. So I think Maginos will go ahead and fire at the roach that he can see. And again, he's rolling 3 attack. He's hitting twice. That is another dead roach who does not cheese the wheel. Fantastic. This is going significantly better than last time. Although I didn't have a lot of trouble in this room the first time around. So that was Maginos' turn. We come now to the roaches. We'll see how far this guy here can move. He can go 3, so he will come into Lily's space. And then he attacks the closest, which will be Lily. So he is attacking and missing. Awesome. This guy here is going to roll 2 movement. He will go 1 and 2. And let's see here. I think what I'm going to do on my turn is I'm going to have Colin, of course, first of all, try to kill this roach right here with his 4 attack dice. He's hitting twice. The roach is not even blocking. And I love that we have 0 cheese on the wheel so far. That's fantastic. Colin is going to stay put. And he hasn't used a search, but he did attack, so he's just going to stay where he is. Lily, I think, again, it's up to you how you guys do this in your game, but the center of that tile to the center of that tile just clips a little bit of this brown. I'm going to say she can see that spot. So I'm going to let her roll her attack. Doesn't matter, she misses. So I think she's going to roll her movement and see that she can go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that way she's adjacent to this exit, and we can move on that way when the time comes. Tilda has 3 cheese. Colin's wounded, but I don't. Do I really want to spend 2 cheese to heal Colin right now? I think I might. I might be just a little scarred by my past experience in this chapter, but last time out, having 1 wound led to Colin getting insta-captured on a single attack from an elite rat. So I'm going to try to keep him healthy. So that is Tilda's turn. She also is not going to move. Maginos will simply stay put, but he will search while he's here. And he finds something. And it is a lucky staff. Interesting. Okay. Well, the lucky staff works like this. It's a +1. It's a melee attack only. And when attacking with this staff, you may re-roll 1 die. You must keep the second result. So I think he'll hang on to that just in case he is in a situation where he might as well make a melee attack. He'd only be rolling 2 as opposed to 3, but melee's more likely to hit. With a reroll, he's more likely to hit on top of that, plus he might get cheese. Not a bad item for him to get. It's probably going to net me more than 1 cheese would at the end of the day. So I think he'll hang on to that rather than discard it. And now we come to this roach. Unless he rolls a 3 for movement, he cannot get to us. But he rolled a 3 for movement. 1, 2, and 3. And now he will attack Colin. He misses, but he does put the first piece of cheese on the wheel. I'm not too concerned about that just yet. And I think, since Maginos... Tilda and Maginos have both gone, but Lily's the one who's going to move us on. So I think Colin will try to kill him and then just have Lily move us on. Let's try to do that. Okay, yeah, that's a dead roach. No questions about that, and he does not cheese the wheel any further, which is fabulous. I was able to take out the roaches with minimal damage to the cheese wheel, no damage left on the party. 1 item gained. That is okay. I have 1 piece of cheese to show for my effort, and Lily is going to be able to move us on, and I didn't have to reckon with those mouse traps, which is kind of nice. Okay, excellent. So that is the first tile. Hooray! Alright, so the next thing to do is just have Lily try to move us on, and if my macro works this time, we can go ahead and reveal a mystery tile. And we're on the blue side, so we're going to draw a blue side of that tile and see if it works. And look at that! It's the forge. It doesn't have any exits. It does have a flip space, though, so we can go in here, have an encounter, and go up onto the orange level and see what we got going on there. So I think that is what we're going to do. So we will go ahead and we will... there's no reason not to be close to that, so I guess we will... Whoops. We'll go ahead and put ourselves on this space right here. And we'll draw an encounter card after we get our tokens positioned and reset our search markers. Alright. Okay, so now that we're here, we're going to go ahead and draw a encounter card and see what we have to fight. It's a mousetraps tile card, but there's no mousetrap X's on this, so we do not place any mousetraps. We are on page 1. Wait a minute, that's a difficult. It should not be a difficult card. I think what happened is I might have changed the macro here, so not a problem for you, but I got a quick fix. I think I changed the macro to the way it's randomizing. I think I know what's happening here, but here's what I'm going to do instead. Again, this is not what you're going to do. I'm going to do standard encounter for the first 2 encounters, and then I'll build a new encounter deck with the difficult cards. But yeah. So now we have only standard encounters. I will go ahead and draw an encounter card. And, okay. No mousetraps, no ambush, no anything. We have a surge of a spider, and we're fighting simply 3 rats. Okay, that's much more what you would expect from a standard encounter. And therefore, okay, you, first of all, are going to go away. You are going to get added to initiative. And we're going to copy 3 of you to put you here on the map. And we are supposed to spread you out as much as we can. So we'll plunk you guys down like that. And then we will shuffle initiative. And away we go. Colin once again is first. But that does remind me that Lily, upon exploring, gains a couple of cheese. And it is Colin's turn. He's right next to a big bad rat. So I think he's just going to swing away and try to kill said rat. That is 3 hits versus his 2 defense. He's definitely dead, and he doesn't cheese the wheel. He blocks valiantly, but Colin's just too good a swordsman for that. And that is a one rat that has left off to the land of wind and ghosts. And yes, we are left now with a decision. Because these rats are 1, 2, 3 away from us, I could once again turtle here, and it's probably a good idea with a couple of decent ranged attackers. The flip side of that is the flip space that we need to get to is down here, but I can massage that once these guys get a little bit closer. So I think I will hang out where I am. Maginos will fire at this guy, who seems to be possibly closer depending on how these diagonals go. Otherwise it's irrelevant. So he'll fire at that guy. And he's firing 3 ranged attack. He's getting a cheese, which means for him he gets 2 cheese. And 1 hit, which means this guy has to roll his defense, and he does not defend. Maginos snipes that guy from all the way across the room. Way to go, Wizzy. Tilda has, at this point, very little to do. I think I will still turtle this guy just to try to get as much out of this as I can, so I'll use the opportunity to search. She doesn't find anything, but no real big loss. See how far he can move. 2 spaces. It does kind of look like he can move that diagonal. He certainly can move that one, so we'll put him here. And then it's Lily's turn. I think she will take a pot shot at him, but she might as well scurry south while doing so. So she's going to go, well, let's roll her move. 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Stand by the shovel and shoot at the rat. And she gets a piece of cheese for it. Alright. Coming down to Colin, who I think will simply stride forward and slap at the rat. He gets a piece of cheese and 3 hits. Yeah, this is definitely going a whole lot better than my last game. Definitely a dead rat, and he doesn't even cheese the wheel. So just like that, we've cleared the next room. Still only have 1 cheese on the wheel. And this guy should have, on his turn, should have moved him up above Tilda. But it turns out it didn't matter because he's dead. That ends Colin's turn because he did move before attacking. Maginos and Tilda can both search. So I think we'll do that. Maginos will roll his search. He finds something. It is a cheese cache. Alright. And the cheese cache, I'll just expand this a little bit here. Play immediately. Each mouse on the same tile as the mouse that drew this card receives 1 cheese. And you are on the tile that you're on, so yeah, each person in the party gets a cheese. That's pretty cool. Suddenly I'm swimming in cheese, which when there is no greedy roaches about is a good thing. And even then, it's kind of a good thing. Okay, so she's up to 4 already. Good for her. Okay, so that was Maginos. And now we come to Tilda. She also will search. She doesn't find anything, and Lily will simply move us to the flip space and flip away. So we go to the background, we go here, we flip our tile, and we find ourselves over here in the Queen's Chamber. And we'll clear search markers, and just taking stock in where we're at. Interestingly, I didn't put one of these here, but I can. So we can explore that way. And we actually can explore to the north. Now there is a rule, I'm pretty sure, and I believe I've seen this confirmed in the FAQ, I want to say the FAQ, or in the forum or something, but if you ever wonder whether you're allowed to look at the other side of the tiles and see what's there, the answer is yes. So you can actually, at any point when you have a tile placed, you're allowed to flip it and see what is on the other side of that tile. But if you remember, this is the courtyard, and even if we wanted it to, it would not link up with this. But there's also a prohibition in the beginning of the chapter description that says you are not allowed to explore the courtyard. So in this scenario, no, we can't go to the courtyard, and that's why this particular scenario is not even letting me flip this tile, which it just reminded me of. So really, if we want to come out of this room, we're going to have to do it over here. Otherwise, we're going to have to start backtracking, and that could cost us some serious time, which is a little unfortunate. But that being what it is, we are ready to draw another encounter card, the last of our standard encounter cards. And remember, the first mouse to search on this tile could potentially find that Mystic Tome and win the scenario for us once we clear the tile. So we might not ever even see a difficult encounter card. We may yet. It kind of depends on what we see. I almost hope we don't, because again, I do want Lily to get one of those items so that she can be rolling more dice than she is. Alright, so there is nothing for it but to draw our next encounter card. And we have an ambush, and we have 4 greedy roaches. Okay, so depending on the roll, that could be unfortunate, because again, we are now swimming in cheese, and we don't have a lot of time in this chapter. So as lucky as we have been in avoiding the difficulties on the cheese wheel, this could go south on us pretty quick. We've got 4 of these, so they go on the 3 entry spaces, and then spreading it out, I can choose where I want to put them. So I'm going to put this guy way up here. Alright, so we've got 2 up here, 1 here, and 1 here. And the ambush card, if you recall, works as follows. After rolling initiative, after shuffling up the initiative, the enemy rolls a single die and moves up that number of spaces. So there's a very good chance they're going to be going first. But we'll see how that shakes out right now. And we have them going last. So they were last on the first tile, the rats were second to last on the second tile, and these guys are last again. But they do still get to roll, so they're possibly second, but they're at least fourth. Let's see what they get when they roll a die here. So let's roll 1 die. They get a 2, so they move up 2 spaces because of their ambush on that card. Before I forget, I will rebuild the encounter deck. Our surge is 2 rats, let's not forget. And I'm going to go ahead and... Yeah, I guess I'll just build the difficult with 2 standard, and if I draw standard, I'll redraw going forward. I guess there isn't ever a scenario where you just use nothing but the difficult cards. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so there we are. There's nothing for it now but to allocate cheese, because Colin has gained a piece of cheese in virtue of not being first, and Lily has gained 2 cheese in virtue of exploring a new tile. Alright, let's zoom in a little bit here. And let's get going. We have Lily and Maginos both being able to take a shot at this guy before the others can try to reach us. But Lily definitely, and possibly Maginos, I think might want to start trading away cheese. Lily, because she's top of the pecking order and not really in huge need of it right now, I think I'm going to have her spend a piece of cheese, first of all, on her skill here, which is preemptive shot, which she can use immediately after new minions are placed on the board. She could use one of the minions that was just placed and make one ranged attack. And starting an encounter is placing enemies. So she will take a shot at the close boy and try to take him out, so we limit the chances of these guys reaching us on the first round. So she rolls 2 attacks. She does hit once, and he fails to block. That's a good use of cheese. Good way to go, Lily. It is now Lily's turn, and I could trade now to give her cheese away, which I'm planning to do, but because I could roll cheese when attacking, or the enemy could roll cheese, which she gains when they defend because of the special ability on her bow, she's got a decent chance of getting some cheese when she attacks. If she's already traded, she can't then give it away. So I've got to make sure and trade after her attack in this instance. I don't think it matters too much. I think they're all... He might only be 2 spaces away. I'd probably call it 3... No, maybe 2. He's probably 2 spaces away. So I think I'll focus fire on him because they're 3 away. So she will, on her turn, attack that guy. She hits twice. That's an automatically dead roach who does not cheese the wheel, which he can't when she's firing anyway. It is now an opportune time for her to give cheese away. So she will trade with, let's say, Colin. Let's say Tilda for now. And I think she will give him all of her cheese. The reason for that, again, is if one of those roaches gets down here by rolling a 3 on their movement, she's the first one to attack. I don't want him cheesing the wheel with only 4 pages to go on here. It is now Maginos' turn. He will follow suit, trying to shoot one of those roaches. And he's rolling 3 dice, getting 1 hit, which is not blocked. That's a dead roach. Now, he could also do some other things like meeps, but I don't think 1 roach is all that scary, because after his turn I'm going to have 4 people who can try to hit him, and all meeps would do would make it more likely to kill him. I'm not worried about killing him, so I am going to go ahead and let him just have his turn. We'll see how far he moves. He moves 1 space only, and there we go. Alright, I think with 1 roach on the board, plenty of space here, no cheese on my first person to be attacked, I think it's time to start searching and seeing if we can't find some of those quest cards. So we will come over here, and Colin on his turn is simply going to search. Does not find anything. I don't think he wants to use give order to let anybody kill that roach, because then Tilda would have us start cheesing the wheel, which would be the main reason I don't want to do it. So I think Tilda is just going to take her turn and search. She doesn't find anything. So we come around the horn to Lily. And yeah, I'll just have her search. She finds something. Alright, so again, the first mouse on the tile may choose to draw from the quest deck instead. So I will draw from the quest deck, and we'll see what we get. It is the Mystic Blade. That is the randomly chosen card. Interesting. Okay. Pretty much the worst thing for me to get, because I don't know that I really need that. Let's see. It's a +1 sword. It's pretty much the equivalent to Colin's sword, so Colin certainly can use it. When attacking with the sword, any swords with a star. Now, importantly for this, it is confirmed. It's not. There's two sides that have a sword and a star on it. One of them has a shield, one of them does not. It is stipulated that it is only the one that has the sword and the star, but not a shield. So it's a 1 in 6 chance of getting a sword that counts as 2 hits instead of 1. But it's better than his current sword, which simply doesn't have that ability, so he might as well use it for now. So I guess she'll keep it. And yeah, on her turn, I think she'll just simply trade it to Colin. So she will give him the Mystic Blade, and she'll take nothing in return. And she will end her turn. We come to Maginos, who will also try to kill that guy. This point, okay, so he is getting 2 cheese for his trouble, and he is scoring 1 hit, which is blocked. Okay, so we do come now to the greedy roach, who can move 3 spaces. Now he can't enter this because there are 4 people on it, so he'll stop after moving 2, and then he'll simply attack Lily, missing completely, which is fabulous. All right. Yeah, once again, I think I got a pretty good chance of killing that guy, so I think Colin is going to try to massage my greed bone. That sounded horrible. Massage my green bone? I can't believe I said that. Yeah, nix that. My goodness. He's going to try to whet my greed appetite. I don't know. I can't even think of a good phrase right now. Oh, that was horrible. Okay, yeah, he's going to be greedy. Let's put it that way. Colin will be greedy. Yes, he will roll a search and he'll find something. Hopefully it's a good thing. It is a clockwork grenade, which is no good to anyone but the Tinkerer, who is not in our party. So he will discard that in order to gain a cheese instead. Tilda will search, not find anything. Lily, at the top of the order, will shoot because she's already searched, and she will miss. And I guess she might as well move up here, because why not? Maginos, yeah, he'll try to kill it. He hits once. The roach blocks. That sounds familiar. Alright, this roach will then attack Lily. He hits once. She fails to defend, and worse yet, she rolls a piece of cheese in defense. So that thing, she gets the cheese immediately. It eats the cheese instead of wounding her and puts it on the cheese wheel. So that did not work out for me. That's what I get for being greedy, huh? Okay, yeah, Colin... Yeah, for the same reason he's going to search as last time, he will find something. Wait a minute. No, Colin already searched. He found the clockwork grenade. So Colin, we'll save that roll for Tilda, I guess? I don't know. No, Colin will, no. Colin will attack. That's 2 hits. That is a dead roach. He does not cheese the wheel. And as much as I'd like to have a successful search, Tilda at that point would have, rather than cheesing the wheel further, would have moved 1-2 spaces and explored to move us on. So that is what we're going to do. In order to accomplish that, I'm going to need to do this, click on this, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it over here and drag it into place. And hopefully this is one that we can go on to. Let's roll our mystery tile and see. We're now on the orange side, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, we can go in there, and it's got a bunch of exits. That is awesome. Okay. So this has been a fortuitous go of it, because even though we're not going where I usually go, going backwards from the way it usually goes, we've got a lot of options here, and we're guaranteed at this point to have no more need to randomly search, because actually no, I'm not. That's not true, because we We might be able to get one thing here, we might be able to get one thing here, but we're theoretically going to get a search here, and that might be enough, but hopefully at least one of those will result in a room we can go into, and that should leave us in pretty good stead. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and, noting that there are a couple of entry spaces up here, I think we're going to put ourselves, once I get onto the token layer again, we're going to put ourselves onto this space rather than that one, so that we're hopefully closer to fewer of the bad guys here. We are now going to be forced to draw our first difficult encounter card. So once again, with our macro not working the way it's supposed to, I am going to be drawing a encounter card, and if it is not difficult, then I will have to draw another one. Alright. Yep, so that is... Oh, I gotta clear search markers. Lily is gonna get 2 cheese upon exploring, and we won't know about Colin until he has his turn. Alright, let's draw our first encounter card here. It is a difficult one. There are mouse traps on the card, but there are no red X's on this tile, and therefore we do not place any mouse traps because there's nowhere to put them. It is difficult in the sense that it is 5 roaches. 2 elite rats is not the best surge in the world, but hopefully we won't see it. 5 roaches? Actually not bad at all for a difficult encounter. Alright, so we're going to add you to initiative. And we're going to copy you 5 times. V, 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 V. And of course the odd one out we're going to put as far away from us as we possibly can. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to see where we stand in the initiative order. And once again, the enemies are going low in the initiative order, and Colin is not first, gaining him a piece of cheese. So we're in pretty good shape. Not bad. Alright, so Maginos has... Gosh, I think we've got... refresh this, make sure. We've got 10... Goodness gracious, we have 19 cheese in our party right now. Gosh, if these were scarier enemies, Maginos might be tempted to use a chain lightning or something, but given that a bunch of them are far away, and I got 3 people moving, I think I'm just going to have him shoot at, I guess, the guy up on the table. So Maginos is going to fire away. Does he want to use Meeps first? No, I don't think he does. We'll save cheese and try to get some skills here. Yeah, he will simply fire away. He gains 2 cheese. And he hits once. And that is a dead roach. Awesome sauce. Okay. It's Lily's turn. Because Tilda can go down here and smack that guy, draw fire with her defense, and is likely to kill him, she's going to fire up at that guy. These guys I don't think we need to worry about this round. So she'll fire at them. I forgot to do preemptive shot at the beginning of the fight. Since the enemies haven't gone yet and it really wouldn't change anything, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So she's going to spend one of her cheese that she just gained coming in the room to take a free shot at that guy before even Maginos went. Doesn't matter even if she shot at this guy first, which she would have, then Maginos would have shot at that guy. So it's all going to shake out in the end. But she rolls her 2 attack. Doesn't matter anyway, so she just wasted her cheese. Okay. Now it's Liz's turn. She'll shoot at that guy. And hit him twice. That is a guaranteed kill. And he can't cheese the wheel, so he, of course, will not roll cheese. Because that would have given me cheese. So it's good. It can't happen. Alright. Tilda. We'll simply come down here and try to squish that roach with her big old stick. And she rolls a lot of bows. Unlike last time, I'm rolling a lot of bows. Last time it was just sword galore. Except with Colin. He was rolling a lot of bows. Anyway, Tilda misses, which is unfortunate. It is the roach's turn. He can't fail to move 1. He wants to enter the space of the closest mouse, and then he is forced to stop. He will attack the closest, which is Tilda, with 2 attack dice. Wow. Cheeses the wheel twice. Just like that, we're close to a surge with those darn elite rats. But these guys are pretty far away from us. So I'm not too worried about it just yet. On Colin's turn, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to scoot down here and try to swat that roach. We're going to gain a piece of cheese. And we're going to hit him 3 times. And he does not cheese the wheel. Colin moves, so there's nothing else he can do. Maginos. It's another judgment call situation here. Can you see? I'm going to say yes, because yes, these are big giant objects between us. But remember, they're chairs. So he'd be looking between the legs, because we're down on the floor. So I'm going to say yes, he can see those roaches. You could make a different call, and I would not blame you for it, but it seems to me a mouse could see a roach over there. So he's going to shoot, and he's, of course, rolling 3 dice, hitting once, and there is no defense. So we are down to 1 roach, which means it might be time to start searching after Maginos moves down here. And I think that Lily... Yeah, because he's going to have a hard time reaching us. Lily's just going to scurry down here, and she's going to roll her search. And she finds something, so she can also go over here to the quest deck. Okay, and she gets the Enchanted Bow, which I really like, so I think on her turn, she is going, this thing doesn't refresh when you find a card. I should make it do so. But just to show you what it does here, it gives her a +1, so she will now, instead of Lily's bow, which doesn't give a +1, she will be rolling 3 dice instead of 2, which is a 50% damage increase. And on top of that, if she rolls a bow with a star, which is 50% of the time that you roll a bow in the first place, she can make an additional attack. Now, you can't chain that, so you can't just keep making attack after attack after attack. But she could potentially roll 2 attacks a good number of times. So, yeah, I like that bow a lot. It's certainly more effective killing-wise than her current bow. Although in a situation like this, where you're tempting a wheel, you might opt to go with the Lily bow instead, because her targets are not able to cheese the wheel. But yeah, she is going to equip that bow lickety-split. And that is a wonderful thing. It does, though, mean that we're going to have to explore at least 1 more tile. That was Lily's turn. It's now Tilda's turn. So I think she's simply going to move down here to try to stay away from that roach a little bit. And roll a search. She'll find something. And it's the lucky skull cap. Would you look at that? That's a fabulous thing to have. And I will show you why in a second. She is going to immediately trade that over to Maginos. Immediately. Because that item, combined with the Scorching Wand that he has, is going to make him an immediate badass. Because here's what this does. Scorching Wand, you're rolling attack dice equal to your lore, and the Lucky Skull Cap adds +1 lore. In addition to, instead of rolling defense against an attack, a mouse wearing the Skull Cap may discard this card to ignore all hits from the attack. So in an absolute pinch, it's a get out of death free card, but you wouldn't know that until you roll your defense. He's only rolling 1 defense, so if he's hit bad, he probably will do that. But the Lucky Skull Cap is really nice to have when you already have the Scorching Wand. The only problem is you're only allowed to keep 1 item between chapters. Now, if you house rule that and you're allowed to keep 2, man, that's a good combo to try to get him. Because for the rest of this chapter, he's going to be rolling 4 attack dice for free every attack. And remember, for every cheese he rolls, he gets 2. So he just becomes an absolute cheese-creating dynamo. But that is Tilda's turn. And we come to the roach, and we'll see how far the roach moves. He can move 3. It doesn't look like... I mean, because that's a space, I don't think he can span from this space to that space. Even though it kind of seems like if he was on this tile, if the tile was here, he probably could, but I'm not going to futz it that fine. 1, 2, and 3, especially because I don't think it would matter. He'd wind up in one of these two and not be able to reach me anyway. So Colin, being the last mouse in the turn order, is going to shoot up here and try to clobber that roach and give me some freedom to move around here. He's got 2 hits. That's a dead roach. And he doesn't cheese the wheel dying, which I like. That's good in a roach. I also forgot to, because and I did confirm this with Jerry Hawthorne, the creator of the game. The ruling that I had suspected is correct. If you draw from the quest deck one of the named cards, which means one of the 2 you selected, or the Mystic Tome, then you add a page to the chapter end. Now, when I drew the Mystic Blade, that was the random card, the one that I didn't pick, and as a result, that's not one of the named cards, so that does not add. But now that I've drawn the Enchanted Bow, that is one of the named cards, so my chapter end is increased to 5, although now I don't really need it, certainly not as much as I did last time around. Okay, it is Maginos' turn. Lily's certainly going to be able to try to move us on. If we can't explore here, we're going to have a tough time going over that way. But it's Maginos getting there. Yeah. Let's see what his move is. It is 5. Let's see. 1, 2. Even if he could, 3, 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on his next turn, he could get us there. I'm going to go ahead and hedge my bets there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put us there so that if we can't explore here, he can move us on next turn. We're only adding 1 cheese on the wheel. But Lily is going to move us here. And again, nobody else can search without adding cheese to the wheel, which I don't want to do. So Lily will simply explore and try to move us on. So we're going to have to drop another mystery tile here. Hang on a second. Okay. And let's see what we get here. Going over to the mystery tile macro. On the orange side. Oh, it is the pipes, and we can go onto it. Interesting, interesting. Now notice this is blue. I believe that is an errata. I think this is supposed to be orange. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that that was a mistake on this tile, that that's supposed to be orange, not blue. But either way, I can go down here if I need to. Hopefully we don't need to, because we're on orange, and this is another place where we can search for loot. Okay, we got a minion space here, a minion space here, and a minion space here. Anyone here cannot... The thing to note about this tile is these gaps you cannot cross unless there's a a line like this. So anyone here is going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to reach us, even if we're here. And we have a little bit more mobility up here on the upper pipe than if we're on the lower pipes. So I think I will put myself on that space, and I keep doing that. Alright, so our guys will be right there. Colin's there. Got Maginos over here. Alright. And we are good to go. We're going to roll for our draw and encounter, but first we're going to clear our search markers, and we're going to give Lily her explore cheese. I'm going to try not to forget to do my preemptive shot when we place the enemies, but let's clear things up and let's see what we draw from the encounter deck. Where are we? Right here. Okay, it is again difficult, so that's working out for us. We do have mousetraps, and there are mousetraps on this map, so we do need to place a couple of those real quick. Grab some. I'll just grab them from over here. Alright, so oh, you go there, and you go there. That's a minor inconvenience, but not the worst thing in the world. Again, fortunately we have Lily along with us. But we do have greedy roaches now, which is less good. Fortunately, they're a little far away this time. We're going to add him to initiative. I'm going to copy that guy. And we have 3 spaces, so we're going to put 1 and 2. 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 down here. Alright, these guys are greedy. Our Surge is a centipede. Even if they're not greedy, we got a pretty good chance of seeing that centipede here, but I'm not too worried about it because of how far along we are. And even if we do have to go to one more tile, we will do so in virtue of having drawn another quest deck here and quest deck card here that was a named card, and added yet another page to the chapter end. So in this case, barring some really bad rolls and a capture, I think we're in pretty good shape. And again, these guys are pretty far from us too. Alright, so let's shuffle up the initiative first of all. Colin is first, so he does not get cheese. But Lily will take her preemptive shot, and she will spend a cheese to fire at some of the closest roaches, which I think are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're actually equidistant, but yeah, she'll fire at these guys. And yeah, she's now rolling 3. She's hitting once, and because it is a bow with a star on it, she gets to fire again. So he is rolling his defense. He cheeses the wheel, which on a rolled bow wouldn't have mattered. But it does put cheese on the wheel. But again, that's okay. But that roach is dead. And she gets to fire again, and it's not even her turn. And this time she hits, and she rolls 2 cheese. So she spent a cheese, got 2 back, put a cheese on the wheel, but she's hit the second roach who did not defend. So she took 2 roaches out before we even had turn number 1 in the encounter, which ain't too shabby. Okay, so now what does Colin want to do? I think Colin wants to search and try to get that quest thing taken care of while we got plenty of time. We got a big time cushion here because these guys are also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they're all 6 away. Interesting. It's going to be hard to get down here or here, but if I draw the right card, I might not ever need to go there, and that would be kind of good to know. So I'm going to go ahead and let him search. And he finds something, so we're going to go to the quest deck, and we're going to draw a card. And it's the longbow. Okay, so we are going to have one more tile, but at least Lily gets her pick of her favorite item. Probably going to go with the enchanted bow, but the longbow is going to be nice if the centipede shows up, because that's going to allow her against the centipede to roll 4 dice to attack him. But that is Colin's turn. I don't think he wants to move. We come to Lily, and she's definitely going to start shooting at roaches. And she's going to roll bows, so that is her turn for the same reason as Colin. She's not going to move. Maginos will pick, doesn't matter which roach, he's going to roll 4 dice now with the lucky skullcap, which he needs to equip in order to do that, technically. Oh, I should have discarded that cheese crash. That's not something he's walking around with. Okay, so he's going to roll 4 attack dice, and he's going to hit twice and gain a couple of cheeses. So that is potentially, it's definitely a dead roach, but he did cheese the wheel. Okay. Alright, so we do have a surge. We are now going then to page 2. And we are getting a centipede added, so we'll go ahead and discard our encounter card. And we're adding a centipede here. He's added to the bottom of the initiative order. Can't believe I've gotten on top of everything else with initiative in this go around. Now he's appearing here because it is the closest available entry space. But I'm still not worried because he's 6 spaces away. So at best, 2 rounds from reaching us if we don't move, and we could even move farther away from him. So Maginos took out a greedy roach. Tilda's turn. I think Tilda will search. Find something. Oh, it's the Invoke Cheddar Golem scroll. That basically lets Maginos, or potentially somebody if I trade them the Lucky Skullcap, but basically lets Maginos turn into a golem made out of cheese, which is just goofy as hell. But one thing to note about that is, and again, this is clarified in various facts and everything, it lets him, he becomes his battle becomes 4 and his defense becomes 3. It's a melee attack, and it's been specified that he's not allowed to use weapons or other equipment while he's in this form. So it's just straight up 4 and 3 for his stats, and he's not, he's not doing his 4 battle and then also adding 1 for his staff or something like that. I suppose I'll hang on to that. I have enough cheese. I'm not too worried about that, so I'll hang on to it just in case I feel a need for it. It's potentially useful. All right, we come to the roaches. We'll see how far they want to move. He's moving 1 space. He's moving 2. And he's moving 1, 2. Then we come to the centipede. See how far he moves. He's moving only 1 space. And we come now to Colin. And I think kind of worried about the centipede, but I'm also kind of worried about the roaches. Oh, I forgot that. I got to clear the wheel. I'll try to get down this away, and we can stay away from the centipede. So I think what I might do, let's see how far he can move. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got an empty cheese. I'm not as afraid as I was about engaging the cockroaches. So he's going to roll his attack dice. If I can get him to actually do it. There we go. 2 hits. That's a kill. With no dire consequences. Alright. We come to Lily. We'll see how far she can move. 3 only. Ugh. Okay, well, 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, you know what? I'm not as worried about the roaches here. I think I'm going to start firing at that centipede with my longbow. And yeah, so that means I need to equip said longbow. Oh, I didn't trade for it. Okay, so before I move, I want to trade with Tilda to get... Oh, she didn't have it. Who had it? Colin had it. So she's next to him, so she can do that. Okay. Colin to get the longbow. And while she's at it, she's just going to go ahead and take all of Colin's cheese. Because Colin's going to potentially get attacked by that roach. Might as well not cheese the wheel. If Colin needs it, he can grab it back on his turn. Alright, so she then is going to equip the longbow, which is going to let her fire 4 dice against the centipede. And I think, since I'm rolling in cheese here, she's going to spend 2 cheese. And she's doing that on accurate shot, which means the target rolls 2 fewer dice when defending. So she's rolling 4 attack dice, and he's rolling 0 defense. which means she's going to roll 4 swords. I hope you realize. No. Wow. Fantastic roll. Okay. So that actually worked out really well. Surprisingly well. Okay, so that is 3 hits. This is not getting her an extra attack because she changed weapons. But because she reduced his defense to 0, he doesn't even get to roll. He's got 3 wounds out of 4 already. She nearly one-shotted him. That would have been fantastic. Okay. Let me just double check that's the only thing on here. When attacking a large minion with this bow, add +1 to your battle. Yep. Okay. Very good. And then we come to Maginos. And yeah, Magine, I think. 2, 3. Well, he's got options, but I think I just want to. That centipede's got a whole oodle. He's got oodles of time before he's going to be able to reach us. So I think what I will do is scooch over this way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can do that safely because Colin's going to be the one who's going to get attacked over here. And he's going to burn a cheese because he's got plenty to lower this guy's defense by 1 until his next turn. Then he's going to fire 4 dice at the greedy roach here. He gains 2 cheese. And he hits twice, meaning that roach is definitely dead. Doesn't cheese the wheel. And that worked out. Okay. Yes, luck is actually pretty strongly with me in this game, with the one exception that I have had to go to 4 tiles to get to the Mystic Tome. Okay, so now we come to Tilda, and she's going to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think she'll stop there with her movement. And I think she'll just hang out. Come to the last roach, and we'll see how far he can move. 2. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can get there 5, so he'll go 1, 2. And the centipede will roll. He's moving 1 again. Centipede's having a bad day. Alright. Technically, when that centipede was placed, again, I forgot, Lily could have taken a preemptive shot against him when he was placed. Just FYI, I did forget to do that. But it is when minions are placed on the map, you can pick one of those minions to shoot at. That was a separate placement of minions, so you are allowed to do that. I forgot, and it's too late. It's been a long time. I'm not going to retcon that, but I wanted to point it out. We come to Colin now, and I think what he wants to do is spend a cheese. So he needs to trade with, I guess, Lily, because she's got a ton of cheese now. No, Maginos has even more. He's gonna trade with Maginos. And I'll just grab like 5 now. And then I will spend 1 to give Lily an extra shot at this guy while he's rolling 1 defense die thanks to Meeps. She is hitting twice. He only gets 1 defense die. He blocks 1 hit, but that 1 more is enough to kill him. So the centipede is gone. Alright. And the reason I did that again is Colin might be inclined to move down this way, try to get towards the exit. But I don't want to move across the mouse. I mean, they're not terrifying, but why take a wound if you don't have to? Because Lily can hop across it for free. So we come now to Lily's turn, and let's see how far she can move. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So she can get there and explore, but there's still a roach on the space. He can't reach anybody. So she's going to simply scurry over here, and instead of killing him, she's going to search. Shriek bug. Uh-oh. Alright. Play immediately. Roll a number of dice equal to this mouse's lore. If the number results total 3 or less, add 2 rat wires to the tile on any minion entry space and add their card to the initiative track if necessary. Okay. Well, not the best card to get, needless to say, but she might not have a problem with it. She does have only a 1 lore, so yeah, if the number results 3 or less, so she automatically fails that roll, unfortunately, with only 1 lore. Okay, so we're going to place 2 rat warriors. It says on any space, which seems to imply you can choose. That's how I'm going to read that anyway. So yeah, we're going to have to add some rat warriors, which is just going to prolong this a little bit. Let's add them to initiative. And let's copy that token, but we're obviously going to put them here and here. It's kind of lame, but whatever. Okay. That is Lily's turn. Come to Maginos. And yeah, I think he will... This guy's closest to us, so I think he'll just try to take a pot shot at the roach. He's gaining 2 cheese. Like I said, cheese engine with this thing. And he's hitting twice, so he's guaranteed to kill that roach who does not cheese the wheel. And he's gone. Maginos is not going to move. He doesn't need to trade, but he will, just for giggles, spend a cheese to put a meeps on one of the rats. So that hopefully we can get out of here sooner. Okay? Tilda has nothing to do, so she will sit tight. The rat warriors. We'll move 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then move up in initiative, and then we come to Colin. Colin will spend a cheese for Lily. No, for Maginos, because she's rolling 4, but no, she's rolling 3 now. She rolls 4 against large targets. She's back to rolling 3. I should have changed to the enchanted bow, but I did not. So he'll give Maginos a shot. Maginos, I think, generates more than 1 cheese on average. So spending a cheese to get Maginos a shot is going to wind up usually netting you some cheese on top of getting you a free attack. So it's a really good idea to do it. So Maginos will shoot with 4 at the guy with meeps on him. Like I said, he gets 2 cheese and hits once. This guy's rolling 1 defense instead of 2 because of meeps and not blocking. So that rat is dead. Lily's turn. She will now swap her longbow for the enchanted bow. She will discard the shriek bug. I certainly don't want to hang on to that. And actually, does she want to shoot that thing? Yeah, we don't have any cheese on the wheel, so she'll fire at him. She's firing 3. Hitting once. And he doesn't block it. It's a dead rat. Once again, when I placed those minions, I could have used preemptive shot, and I forgot once again. One of the downsides of playing 4 mice, but also one of the downsides of having all of your cards appear in a menu that goes away when you are looking at the map. It's a little different at table when you've got everything splayed out in front of you. It's very different if you're only controlling 1 or 2 mice. Much easier to keep track of things like that. We come now to Maginos, though. We have no enemies on the board. We will cheese the wheel 1 time if we don't come down here, but rather than risk a wound, I think I'll just take up 1 piece of cheese on the wheel and avail myself of an extra search try. Didn't find anything, but what the heck. Tilda, let's take a look at where the party stands here. Okay. I do want to have Colin have a little bit more cheese than that, but I don't think Tilda's the one to give it to him right now. So I think she'll just hang out. We come here, we do put a cheese on the wheel. And it's Colin's turn. Colin will not do anything. And then we'll go to Lily, and she will explore for us. And hopefully, this is a legal tile, so that we don't have to look up whether this is legal or not. Alright, so background, Control-C, Control-V, drag him over here, and let's go ahead and reveal our mystery tile. Okay, so apologies for a little bit of discontinuity here. I was about to flip this tile at the start of the next video segments. And as I record this, I do pause once in a while to save and keep the videos a little short in case I mess something up. I don't have to re-record an entire video. So I record this in little chunks. And as I was recording the next chunk last night, I had a bit of a macro issue here, and I just wrapped up for the night, and I'm coming back to this now. I think I've got the macro fixed, so we should be good to go. And yeah, we're just basically looking to see what happens with Lily as she explores this tile here. So hopefully this macro will work, and we can go ahead and just click this and reveal a mystery tile. We are on the orange, even though there is a blue here. And by the way, one nice thing about the little break I had here from last night to now is I was able to confirm with Jerry Hawthorne that this is in fact intended to be blue. This tile is actually the one place where the exits do kind of cross-pollinate that way. Normally you use the flip spaces to go back and forth. This is the one tile where you actually use an exit and you descend a level. So that does connect to a blue tile on that side. But yeah, we are going to see what we've got here. It's the guard room. Okay. Well, it's familiar. It's where we start the game. I love the art, but it does not connect. So now we have to think about what our options are. Again, Jerry's on record kind of as saying, go ahead and flip stuff to see what you've got. So one option would be to use the flip space, come down here, these connect, and then we use that flip space to come up. This flip space will require the fish hook and thread, but you can go into the water. It's a special rule for this chapter that in any water space you can search as a special search for the fish hook and thread, which would allow us to use that flip space. There are, though, I think there's two issues with this. Yeah. The two issues, well, the first issue with this is if we go that route, we're here right now, so we go down here, face an encounter, hopefully defeat that encounter, come over here, face an encounter, have to deal with the water and hopefully get to the flip space, then come up here, have another encounter, at which point we can hopefully end this by getting our quest card. So that would be 3 encounters going this way. Not certainly like terrifying or anything like that, but they are going to be difficult encounters, and it's not like we have a ton of leeway page-wise here. Things can go south on us real quick here. Although I am recalling now that we did just get the other bow for Lily, and at that point it was the other of the 2 named cards that weren't the Mystic Tome. So we should actually be on page 6, which does give us a little bit more time. But it's still, it's 3 encounters that could go wrong. More concerning to me is the fact that I believe this flip space with the little cogwheel here, that means the Tinkerer can use it. I believe the Scamp can as well, if I remember correctly, but I don't think anybody else can. I don't have either of those people in my party. So even if I wanted to use that flip space, it would be 3, it'd be 3 encounters to get where we're going, and it's not an option for me. Another option is to go here and have a, again, this would go to a blue room. Assuming it connects, it would be an encounter. Hopefully we can use a flip space there and get up to the upper level and deal with that. We could always backtrack all the way over here and try to go into this tile and flip, but again we have two encounters here, one here and then one on the flip side, one here and then one on the flip side. But a more direct route to me seems to be, and I don't think I mentioned this, I updated the image on this tile here. We previously had the exit here, but because it's, especially now because it's relevant to whether tiles are connecting or not, this is now the correct image. We previously had an exit here, but the actual exit is up here, which might matter depending on how things go. For instance, the guard room would connect over here and not here had we drawn that over on this tile. But I'm thinking right now the best option might be, because it's probably only going to cost us a cheese or two to do it, would be to go onto this tile and shoot over here and try to explore here. And if that doesn't work, we could always come back here and go this way, or worst case scenario, go all the way over here. We do have some time to do that, but we're guaranteed on this tile to be able to go up and have an orange encounter if nothing links up here. I think there's only 2 more tiles in the stack, so that might not connect, this might not connect. I think I'm going to try to have one connect up here just so I can hopefully go directly to the orange. And if that doesn't work, I might just scurry over here and say screw it. I think that is the way I'm going to go. All right, so let's see how this is going to work. Let's clear this. It's Maginos' turn because Lily spent her turn exploring and finding that she can't go anywhere. Maginos can reach there. He can't go here, so let's see how far he can move on his turn. 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's fine. 1 space, 2 space, 3. Remember, you can go, it costs 3 movement points to go up against the arrow, but going with the arrow, hopping down is just 1 movement point, so he can do that. He can then explore that orange space and bring us all back onto this tile. Now, we've already been on this tile before, so we are not re-rolling our encounter. We're not drawing a new encounter. We're not resetting initiative. We will clear our search markers because we're not really bothering with it. But that was Maginos' turn. Because we're not placing minions, we're not starting an encounter, we are not resetting initiative. So we now come to Tilda, who 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 might be able to reach that. But let's see what her movement is. She did get a 5. Oh, that's lucky. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which means before we go over here and cheese the wheel, we're actually able to explore and see what we can put here, which is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever done this where I've looped all the way around again, so that's why I had these tokens placed here. Let's move them out of the way. And these are objects here. Let's grab these guys, scooch them over, go back to the background. Let's just drag this guy over because we're not going to need him there. All right. And yeah, let's go back here. Let me save up in case I have another macro scenario, and then we'll run it and see what we find. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, we can go ahead and run our mystery tile macro and reveal this sucker. We are on orange. And we get an orange room that connects, which is very cool. All right, so we go ahead and put ourselves on this tile. And again, that's the way Explore works. If there's no minions on there, one mouse explores, barring specific rules like you see sometimes in the sewer where somebody's got, all the mice have to be on one side of the water. As long as all of the minions are gone, you bring your whole party with you. Okay, so we are on what will be the final tile for this chapter, because we will either die or be able to have our first search on the tile net us the Mystic Tome, at which point we can clear the minions on the tile and win. So, yeah, let us draw our encounter card and see what it is we get. Alright, it is difficult. We have mouse traps, but there is nowhere to place them, and we are on page 2. So our encounter is 6 greedy roaches, and our surge is a spider. Okay, we're fighting a lot of greedy roaches this time around. I'm going to add you to initiative, and we're going to place, there's 3 spaces, and there are 6 roaches, so we spread them out like so. And so I don't forget, Lily will go ahead and grab her 2 cheese for exploring. She will then spend 1 cheese on preemptive shot, which she will fire off at one of these guys. She is currently equipping the enchanted bow, which is good. So she is firing 3. And yeah, okay. She gains her cheese back. She does land 1 hit, which the roach does not defend. So on her preemptive shot, she takes 1 out, and we're actually facing 5 greedy roaches. All right, excellent. Now we go ahead and shuffle the initiative. Lily gets to go first. Wow, once again, the roaches are going last. That has been a consistent bit of very, very good luck for us. But Colin, in virtue of not going first, gets a piece of cheese. And it is Lily's turn. And I think what Lily wants to do, let me double check her. She doesn't need Keen Eye. She could use that later. I don't think we want to do it right now. Accurate shot, preemptive shot, power shot. No, I don't think we're too worried at this point about any of that. They're only rolling 1 defense die. I don't think I want to spend 3 cheese to get 2 attack dice. So I think she's just going to straight up shoot at this guy with her bow as is. And I don't know why those are not showing. Okay, she's getting a piece of cheese. So she's at 11. I guess there is limit on my macro, so let me go ahead and say she's going to trade with Colin, because I know he's a little lower on the cheese totem pole here. And she's got 11, but we'll give him a bonus 1 here. And yeah, we'll just give him 4. So she's down to 7. She gave him 3. Okay. And now we will give her that extra 1. Okay. So they handled the overflow there. So that was a little clunky, but whatever. Okay, so she missed, but she got her cheese back. I guess she will, since everybody's going for the roaches, we'll just fall back over here, because why not? Tilda now will fall back over here, and I guess she will just search to try to lock in that, yep, the quest deck here. Draw a quest deck card. There's our Mystic Tome. Alright, so we have found that. I guess you still get the effect of it. I guess. I don't see why not. Look through the search deck and take any one scroll card you want from the search deck. Okay, so let's go ahead and yeah, why don't we grab the slow scroll? Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to be, like, I'm not going to be keeping this item because everybody here has an item that I am not going to want to get rid of. So I'm not going to be keeping that scroll. So I'm picking slow because it's of particular value here on this particular tile. But I'm not sure, because this is a quest item, I don't, and you know, it's the victory condition, I don't know that you like get to play it in the normal fashion. If you can, great. I would be able to play the slow scroll. Maginos would be able to come over here, trade for it, and cast it. And this is not going to be a very difficult fight for us as it's going to turn out, most likely. In order to try to be on the total up and up and try to make this as uncontestable a victory as possible, I did grab that scroll, but I'm just going to not use it to try to make this a nod towards, in case you feel like that Mystic Tome is not something you're supposed to use as an item because of its special status here. But one thing we do get, because it is one of the named cards, we do get a page added to the chapter end. Okay, so that's Tilda's turn. Colin, I think, will move. And he might as well also search, find something. He gets a grape. Now that is phenomenally helpful here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that into the... what do I do? Okay. The party stash. Put that there. Okay. That's Colin's turn. Alright. Now Maginos can drop the grape for free, but where we want to drop it to get the most effect might depend on whether he's able to take this guy out. So the first thing I'm going to do is attack that roach. And hit him 3 times. That is 1 dead roach who does not cheese the wheel. Bye-bye, you greedy sucker. Okay. Now, as a result of that, I think what Maginos wants to do is drop the grape, I'm thinking right here. Yeah. So he's going to manage, use party item. There we go. Jeez. Okay. So we're using that, and that means we're going to be able to grab the grape and drop it on this tile right here. And the reason for that is those roaches are going to spend at least a couple of turns trying to get there. And meanwhile, I can be picking them off. And then when they do get there, they're going to gorge themselves and not be a problem after that. So for a couple of reasons, this last tile is a little anticlimactic, actually, after all of this. Okay, so that was Maginos' turn. It is now the greedy roach's turn, so we'll see how far they can move. He goes 3, so 1, 2, and 3. He can move 2, 1 and 2. 3, 1, 2, and 3. He'll move 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Right, so they really want that grape. They're moving pretty fast, but we'll see how many of them get there next round. In the meantime, I'm going to shoot, starting with the one farthest away. And it kind of looks like those 2 squares there might not be adjacent. These might have been 1, 2, 3. So I guess even, yeah, I'll just, because that is not adjacent, maybe the shortest path to the grape would have been to go like this. Okay. So I'm going to start with this guy and then start shooting these guys on my turn. It is Lily's chance to shine, so she will go ahead and, yeah, fire away at the furthest roach. Getting 2 cheese, 1 hit, and an extra shot because of the enchanted bow. So first thing, let's see if this roach defends. He does not, so that guy's dead. Her cheese level, I think, is pretty high. She's at 10, but she can handle the extra 2 cheese. Without me having to get clever here. I'm going to trade Colin a couple of cheese because he's about to spend it. So she'll trade with Colin, and she will give him 3 cheese. Okay. And that is going to end her turn. Tilda now. I don't think I'm worried about anything right now, so I think she's just going to hang there for now. Cullen then is also not going to engage, but he will spend a piece of cheese to give, I guess, Maginos an extra shot just because he's rolling 4 dice. So Maginos will roll versus one of those as a free attack. He's gaining 2 cheese and hitting once. And the roach is putting cheese on the wheel whilst dying. And that is Colin's turn. Then we come to Maginos. Maginos will then fire away. And pretty much the exact same thing. Hit once and gain 2 cheese. Let's see if that is blocked. It is blocked in this instance. Maginos gains 2 cheese. I am swimming in cheese right now, so we're just going to have to remember that Maginos is at 10, but he can trade. So I'll go ahead and give I'll give Tilda 2 of his cheese. I'll just give Tilda 2 cheese. And that'll count as Maginos gaining 2 and then trading it to her. We come now to the roaches. We'll see how far they move. He can move 2 onto the grape, and he can move only 1, which means it's only this roach that kills himself on the grape. The grape is now gone, and that is the turn of the greedy roaches. So now we come to Lily, who is going to fire away, hitting once. And the roach cheeses the wheel in a pitiful attempt to thumb his nose at me. And that's that. That's a victory. We have cleared the last tile of minions while in possession of the Mystic Tome. So we are winners in the game of life. Unlike the last game out, I had significantly better luck this time. I'm sorry you guys weren't able to see just how badly the last game went. It was just a comedy of errors. It was just terrible. Like every time you'd roll the dice, you'd be like, "What's the worst thing that could happen now?" And that's pretty much what happened every time. But this time around, obviously, things went much better. I was rolling more bows. I was rolling a lot of cheese. The enemy was not rolling much cheese, nor were they blocking very often. And I was able to get, I had a little bit more circuitous path than I sometimes have on this. And the one thing that kind of stretched us out a little bit was the fact that I did get the... I had to draw all 4 cards from the quest deck before I was able to find the one that I needed to win. But of course, the plus side on that is Lily now has her choice of the 2 bows that she wants to keep going forward, and I think I've already decided that I want that to be the enchanted bow. Longbow is really nice against large enemies, as we saw, but I find that the enchanted bow is just generally more useful, so I think we're going to go with that going forward. But that is Chapter 7. We have found the Mystic Tome. Maybe, just maybe, Maginos has the ability to find some answers for us in that tome. Let's see what he can discover as we go into our next chapter next time, and see maybe if he's able to learn something about that pesky Vanestra that we can use to try to end her wily ways and put a stop to her evil schemes. All right. So until then, fight true, brave mice, and I will catch you on the flip side. Happy gaming. Take care.